Here's what they're not telling you about the new Parfums de Marly Castley. What's going on, guys? My name's Neeb. Welcome back to AROMATIX. Today we're going to be talking about the newest release from Parfums de Marly, the Castley fragrance. I didn't want to jump into just making a review and falling into hype, etc. because in fact, I actually did that. In my first video, I was talking very highly of this fragrance until I started rocking it, and 3 days later is when I started to question whether or not I actually posted that video because my opinions changed. And that usually that's the way it goes. So first impressions are cool, but they're not always the whole idea. And instead of dropping that first impression and then coming back with a full review, I caught it just in time where that video wasn't edited and finished.
Meanwhile,
there isn't going to be too much difference between what I said initially and now, but now I'm definitive in what I want to say. So Parfums de Marly Castley is the newest release to the Freshy lineup indicated by the bottle. I like the bottle design. It's falling into the whole summer lineup of fragrances, except for I would say Perseus, where it has that solid bottle. But I was thinking that this is going to be like a successor to great fragrances like Sedley and even Greenlee, but I thought wrong. So when I first grabbed this fragrance, I sprayed it on, I got juicy citruses. I was like, oh, Sedley, but maybe a little bit more masculine and peppery. And that was at least the first 5 minutes of the fragrance. As the time went on, it was starting to get a little bit musky, woody, and the peppers started to take over. I chalked it up for the first day because I started to get busy in the hustle and bustle. I picked it up, I bought it from Sephora and just said, you know what, let me just rock this one. But even then, on that day, I was sampling a lot of fragrances. So I chalked it up to first impressions being like, oh, this is good. It reminds me of Parfums de Marly Sedley, just for very briefly, but then it's overtaken by this pepper and Akigala wood musk combination that I get with something like Essential Parfums, that fragrance, which is like $80 on discounters. And that fragrance, believe it or not, a lot of perfumers and in the industry as well, people love that fragrance. For me personally, I feel like it's very mature. It's not a bad scent, but it's just pretty unidimensional, just dry, peppery, and woody. So I chalked it up to that. A couple days later, I decided to rock this. I went to bed with it, and the next day I wore it fully. And what I personally thought initially was this juicy and fresh citrus fragrance quickly turned into much more of this mature, musky, woody, and pepper fragrance. This smells like the top of Sedley very briefly, and even then it was only a small percentage of that. So don't take it and be like, oh, it's gonna be a Sedley flavor. No, 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 no. And then quite literally turns into this pepper, woods, and musk. And it's too much for me personally, in terms of how old it feels. It just feels like it's too mature. That's number one. Number two, I can almost literally smell black pepper. Imagine a pile of black pepper, you slap it, and then all of that is in the air with maybe some wood. Yeah, that's gonna hurt. It's gonna hurt like a bitch. But that's basically what it smells like. And that's kind of what I get from Essential Parfums Bois Imperial. And then once I start to scale that and I'm like, holy f, I really just spent $400 for this fragrance, which smells like a little effervescent version of Bois Imperial. And I would say no, because obviously it doesn't do exactly the same, but PDM fragrances are known to take maybe, familiar scent profiles and really perfect it and niche it out. But I wouldn't necessarily call this that. In fact, it got so boring because it was unidimensional after 30 minutes. And I was just like, what am I wearing? Musky, dry, peppery woods. And I was just like, is this the fragrance that a lot of people were saying, oh my God, it's top 3. We need to And it actually upset me. It upset me for the first time in a long time that a fragrance of this caliber and of this price is this basic. So I'm not saying that it smells bad. It smells great. Longevity is great. Projection is great. But for this scent profile, I've smelled it in Essential Parfums, the Bois Imperial. I've smelled it literally, I'm not even joking, you guys. In the black bottle, we tried a fragrance DNA, which was 80% or 60% Bois Imperial. I didn't even know, I didn't even like it. It was placed in the bottle just as a placeholder for the bottles to put something in it, anything. And I don't like that fragrance. And then when I smelled this, it's I could pick it out like a sore thumb because I don't like it. And just that in itself, the fragrance, Bois Imperial, and this is so unidimensional for about 6 hours that it's just brain numbing. Uninteresting, boring, and finally, it quite literally reminds me of that plus citrus. So there is a citrus aspect to it, but my brain just goes, man, turn off completely to the scent profile.
Brain shutting.
And I'm surprised because cologne, one that a lot of people didn't receive, was that mandarin and peppers. This, instead of going mandarin and deep, rich, orange vibes and peppers, is going bright citrus and lighter pepper vibes. So kind of in that I would say polarizing realm, if you will. I don't think this is better than Sedley. I don't think it's better than Greenlee, Layton, even Percival. And Percival, I'm not like the craziest fan. This is boring, it's uninteresting, and it smells like the luxury wet wipes at a restaurant. And like, that's me being nice about it, seriously. So you'll go out to a restaurant here in Dubai, and when you're done eating, there's wet naps, you crack them open, and it smells like this. Uninteresting. I wouldn't even call this like compliment getting. It's just not it. It's not it. Castley by PDM, it's at best like a 6.5 to a 7 out of 10. That's just how I feel about it, especially when you're selling it for 450 bucks, man. I don't even think this is worthy of like being duped. Just being honest, man. Just being honest. I think Bois Imperial comes in and straight now too. I mean, just take that and spray some citrus over it. That's it. That's all I have to say about Castley. I picked this up at Sephora here in Dubai. If you haven't already grabbed it, I'd think twice or at least pick up a sample, you guys. Especially when it comes to like this. Like, look, when you're talking about a cheapie that's 30 bucks, this sample is probably gonna cost you 30 bucks. Sample it at the very least. I mean, to each his own, right? To each his own. I have absolutely no bias against it, just being 100% honest about the brand new Castley. Let me know down in the comments section what your expectations are for a scent profile that's at $400. I personally don't want to be reminded of anything else, but of course, in a realm of so many fragrances that use similar notes, you're going to. But even then, there should be some aspect that's like, that's a nice twist or change. That's not the case with this. I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.
So I'm sitting in about 8 hours into the wear, and an honest thought that I had is that I could smell a little bit of imagination. Imagination, the Essential Parfums, and then Sedley. During the brief, they just looked at the most successful fragrances, Sedley, Imagination, and then decided to make a creation around a hybridization of that. And I'm willing to put money on that because that's in fact what we do when we go to make creations, even with perfumers. So no need that has a perfumer doesn't mean shit. It still means that they start off from that and then they make you a twist. So I can smell a little bit of imagination, which I didn't get before, but in this dry down, I can get that soapy and almost aromatic leafy green. And the Sedley VNA is definitely there, along with Bois Imperial. Still boring as shit. Still smells like wet wipes. Boring.